before we get started tonight, I want to apologize in advance. In case something happens tonight, I get a little emotional. I'm going to be missing in action for a couple of weeks after tonight. This past Wednesday, out of nowhere, my sister Tracy passed away. Massive shock to my family, to my mother, myself. She's survived by her husband, her two sons, my other sister, and an entire army of cousins. If you're a praying type, keep my family in prayer because this has rocked us to our very core. Again, I'll probably be missing in action next couple of weeks. Definitely next week, I'll be driving back home to Birmingham for Tracy's memorial. Here's to you, sis. I love you. All right.
Never know the perfect thing to say for that, but just obviously all the love and respect and all that, best wishes, man.
Thank you much. So
you and your family, man.
Appreciate it. Now that we've got that out of the way, even though you guys can see the countdown live and in living color. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a moment that we have all been waiting for, that we have waited for 365 days for. It is the moment you have waited for. It is the moment Brian has waited for, Isaac has waited for, and KD. Even though KD has only been on our show for a couple of months, KD has been waiting his entire life for this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling with Egos 2022 Egie Awards. I am your host, Patrick Swafford. I am joined, as always, by our esteemed panel. First and foremost, he is the viewing house that is our, the people that keep the results locked and sealed until that proper moment. My best friend in the whole world, Brian Kriego. How are you, sir?
Locked and loaded, ready to go. It's awards season, time to hand some hardware out. Coveted Egie Awards, the third annual, as a matter of fact. And people have been lobbying for months to get included on this. And PricewaterhouseCoopers has kept the results under lock and key. The briefcases are off stage to my right, and they will be handed to me as we go over each category. We're coming correct tonight, people. That's all we can say.
Very much so. Also on this panel, if you joined us for last year's Egie Awards, you saw him. If you didn't join us for last year's Egie Awards, well, you suck, ladies and gentlemen.
Go back and watch it. Pause.
Oh, hot damn!
Then go back and find last year's because it was good.
Yes, it was very good. You know why it was
Stunning
good?
upsets.
You want to know why it was good? Because I wasn't there. Ladies and gentlemen,
so you got to enjoy it as an audience member. That's what you mean. Sure, obviously. Yeah.
Please welcome to the panel the big man himself, Isaac Smith the Fourth.
Thank you. Let us get it going. I'm ready. Let's go.
And of course, the fearsome foursome that we are, we had a new addition. Our 2022 ended by adding yet another member to this madhouse of mayhem alliteration for you people. There you go. He is our brother from across the pond, probably and easily the funniest guy on this show, Katie Hinken. Welcome to the panel, sir.
Wagwan, my Americano brethrens. Hello from across the correct side of the pond. The correct side.
Hey, 1776 called. We whooped your ass.
I'm still shocked that that's the beginning of your guys' history. Like,
that's all we got.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's like they said in National Treasure. Somebody's got to go to jail, but somebody had to get their ass kicked. Basically.
Pretty much. So here's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. We have eight different categories.
Before we start, can I just ask one quick question?
Of course.
Why does Brian look like he's getting ready to go to a wedding?
It's the Egie Awards. That's why.
Brian always dresses up
Egie
for
Awards.
Egies.
I mean, we gotta,
It's
I'm
awards.
your presenter.
I should have brought it, but I'm a champion, so hey.
Yeah, I shall be back. Continue.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh my God. What the hell have we done? And I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah, I could have dressed up, but you know what? I ain't in the mood. I just told y'all why. So you know.
I'm a champion. That's all I'm
There
saying.
you go. There you go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories. But before we get into those 8 categories, I have to thank you guys for watching this show. I have to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of these 3 crazy assholes' heart. Thank you so much for making Wrestling with Egos part of your week, part of your wrestling infotainment. However you might be consuming this product, whether you are watching our ugly mugs on YouTube, whether it is any of the countless podcasting platforms that you might listen to. Oh dear God, Brian is strip teasing. What the bloody hell? What in God's name are you doing, Brian? Why are you changing ties?
He was watching the Acclaimed.
Your mic, you're muted, brother.
Oh, sorry. It's a wardrobe change.
Jesus.
Yep. There's a budget here. There's a wardrobe budget that they gave me. Every award tonight, you're going to see a different look.
Oh, Jesus.
So
God.
I'm getting ready. I told you I was coming correct in the pre-show meeting, and this is what I mean by that. I am
Brian,
here for you. I am here for your entertainment. It's not a strip tease. We don't want to get demonetized.
We have to be monetized first before we can be demonetized.
Well, that strip tease will not help us get monetized. So that's why.
You never know.
It's gotta someone's gotta like it. It doesn't have to be us, but somebody's gotta like it. That's all I'm saying.
So as I was saying, Jesus, good.
I'm with you, sir. I'm with you. Sharpen the shit up.
I approve. And by the way, you missed it while you were in the middle of your wardrobe change, KD. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but Brian has changed ties.
Oh my God, I approve of that one.
Oh no, you have no idea what we've just gotten ourselves into. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Anyway, as I was saying before all of this went sideways, if you're listening to us on any of our countless podcasting platforms, whether it be Anchor, Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, am I missing one? Brian?
Deezer.
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple, Anchor, YouTube, and Amazon. There you go.
Yes, I got them all. Yay. The Magnificent Seven. Got them all. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. And let's get right down to it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the nominees for Moment of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Kriego. However, this is not for Moment of the Year. This is for Moment of the Year not named Vince McMahon being ousted from WWE. More on that in a moment.
Speaking of moments, the non-Vince portion of the awards. From SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar bringing the bulldozer to ringside. Kazuchika Okada, oh my goodness, showing up on Dynamite. Eddie Kingston coming from backstage with the gas can at Blood and Guts. The media scrum and subsequent backstage fight following All Out, or as Patrick so eloquently put it, Brawl Out. And a late entry into the category, the collective gasp when Cody Rhodes removed his jacket at Hell in a Cell, and we witnessed the extent of his bruised pectoral muscle.
Or as I have been referring to it all night long, Cody Rhodes' bruised boobie.
It was indeed a bruised boobie.
You can either call it the bruised boobie or the torn titty, whichever one you want to go with. Either one works. I'm just saying. That being said, a lot of these were great nominees, but the winner is Cody Rhodes and his bruised boobie, and everyone's collective gasp and visceral reaction to that. And also the fact that he went that entire match like that.
Yeah, it was. If you didn't respect the dude before, you had to respect him after that.
Dude,
straight away, like, you know.
You can consider this moment of the year. You can consider this ballsiest performance of the year. You can consider this a lot of different things. And what I loved was the fact that in Cody's last few months in AEW, Cody's toughness literally came into question. And now the last match that we actually saw him in was the complete opposite of that. That's what I find beautifully humorous about all of this.
I didn't know there was any kind of question about his toughness, because I've never questioned his toughness, but I've questioned his sanity many a times.
Did the lights out match or the match where he burned his back, was that in 2021 or was that early 22?
I think that was 21.
It was one of his last matches, wasn't it, against Andrade?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. That was 21.
Because that was all he needed to do to show how tough he was to me.
I was saying more along the lines of a lot of the AEW elitists.
Okay.
Kind of being very critical of him. And then this performance shut every last one of them up. That's what I was getting to. That being said, we have to acknowledge the fact that if we're not excluding certain moments, the moment of the year was Vince McMahon stepping down as chairman and CEO of WWE, handing creative control over to Triple H.
And he very sillily took some bad advice. How silly of him.
Yes, and then today, on January 6th of 2023, it was revealed that Vince McMahon has pulled a power play, and he has now been reinstalled as executive chairman of WWE.
He's on the board. He's not executive chairman.
No, he's executive chairman.
Is he one of them? He's not the top man.
I believe so. But regardless, here's why he did it. WWE's television rights are coming up for negotiation this year. Vince McMahon, as majority shareholder, pretty much threatened either you reinstall me or I'm going to hold up any negotiations as majority stockholder.
He did. He completely said that. Like, he completely said that. Not pretty much.
It has been said that Vince being installed into this, essentially what we're hearing is it's going to serve two purposes and two purposes only: media rights negotiation and possible, potential, or probable, depending on which news source you're listening to, probable potential possible sale of WWE outright. Stay tuned. Because this could all go to hell in a handbasket by the time you see Brian, KD, and Isaac next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why I'm reserving judgment, because when I read the story, it read to me like from that point of view, from that terminology, I can understand why he wants to do it. If he wants to secure the best possible TV rights deal, and by best I mean most lucrative, for all parties involved, especially him. But he also wants to, I think also part and parcel of that is he wants to make sure the product is as good as it can be to make it attractive to people to want to buy, whether it's NBC Universal, whether it's Walt Disney Corporation, I'm just throwing names out there. I'm not saying buy it.
Mm.
And I like to think that means he'll be not as involved in creative as he used to be. Maybe he thinks, okay, that's fine, I'll oversee it, but I'm more about the brass tacks and the dollars and cents and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I'm very similar to you because I'm fine with it. If business-wise, like the power play he did to get back in, business-wise, it was a great move. The fact he's brought in two essential people that will help give him the majority vote each time, two people that he fired like a couple of years ago, very smart business move. And the business in general, like we can't forget about the fact none of us, or a lot of us, wouldn't be like modern wrestling fans without Vince McMahon, you know, just everything that he did. But yeah, I'm fine with him doing all the businessy stuff and being there for all of that. And he was still with his company as well. As long as he lets Triple H continue creative, I just don't know if I have faith in that happening.
I
you
don't
know,
think
I don't know.
Katie, I don't think he can check his ego at the door long
That's
enough.
the problem, exactly.
But I am completely in agreement with you. If this is solely for business reasons, financial, the sale of WWE, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Mhm.
and he keeps his damn hands out of creative, he's a dickhead for doing it, but I ain't that mad at it.
Yeah,
If he touches creative, then he can go straight to hell.
Yep.
And I'm done with this show because I'm done with wrestling.
Yeah, I really don't know how I'm going to keep watching wrestling if he goes back to that WWE, considering AEW right now. I'm sorry, guys. The new set looks great, but the booking be abysmal.
Gosh,
It's all over the shop.
Oh, amen. And the sad thing is, the Wrestling Observer newsletter will give Booker of the Year to Tony Khan.
Yeah.
By the way, anybody that drinks the Kool-Aid of Dave Meltzer, you're an idiot.
Is that not out yet?
Moving on.
The awards for them, is that not out yet? Because I saw didn't the Usos win the tag team of the year for them?
No, that was PWI.
Oh, okay.
They were number one and FTR was 2.
Who's number one?
Usos.
Ooh.
Keep in mind, PWI ranks their people based on actual match production, championships, things of that nature. And the fact that the Usos have had such a long title run put them ahead of the 3 different titles that FTR was winning. I still don't understand how that works, but moving on. We are next to Breakout Star of the Year. KD or Isaac, would either one of you gentlemen like to go into our good God, Brian. All right, so tie number 3. So we've had a green and white one, now then a pink and white.
Look at that,
those of you that are listening on the podcast. And now it
Those of you that listen on the podcast, you're missing out. Not only is Brian putting on another tie right now, but he's doing it topless too.
Yeah. By the way, guys, he's just wearing the tie.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I don't need this visual right now. That's all I'm saying, people.
Y'all don't want this visual, but
we don't need visual.
He has the Wrestling with Egos logo shaved into his chest hair. I'm just saying.
It's some glorious chest hair as well.
Very much so. Very much
Robin
so.
Williams be damned. Oh, he's got the clip and everything. Okay.
Of course. So, KD or Isaac, would either one of you gentlemen like to give the nominees for Breakout Star of the Year?
I got it.
All right, Isaac.
I know. I'll open the document.
The Breakout Star of the Year nominees are Konsuke
Takeshita.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Daniel Garcia, Logan Paul, Jamie Hayter, Ricky Starks, Sami Zayn, and Mandy Rose.
Brian?
This Egie for Breakout Star of the Year in a unanimous vote and richly deserved goes to Sami Zayn.
I don't think. Look, Takeshita had a nice surprising debut in AEW, and he's had some great matches. Logan Paul, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know,
To be fair,
damn.
proper.
The matches that Logan Paul has had, he's only had 4 matches, and they have all been
bangers.
Yes. Well, 3 of them have. The tag match with The Miz was just good.
Yeah.
It wasn't
He
a
was
banger.
still good. Everything he did was good.
It wasn't a banger, but he definitely didn't look like crap. But his 3 singles matches have been, oh crap. Daniel Garcia has had some great matches in 2022. The matches with Bryan Danielson. Absolutely. Jamie Hayter has solidified herself as easily the best women's wrestler in AEW. No question about that. Ricky Starks, 2 years ago, won the worst performer of the year on this podcast. And now we're talking about breakout star of the year. And he's playing his hand already and making an early case for wrestler of the year 2023. Stay tuned on that one, boys and girls, because we might not be that far off from the truth. Mandy Rose, that woman in the last 12 months went from eye candy to damn, this girl can go. I mean, she was just eye candy until.
Oh, I thought you were talking about her OnlyFans thing then, saying this girl can go. Because she can. Whoa. Made me want to go. I went a few times in all honesty.
Mandy before her release became more than just eye candy. That woman became a pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these guys very deserving of the win, but it's Sami Zayn because
the reason he got my vote. I'll jump in here really quick, and then I'll let you continue. I can't remember an example of a guy who had a first half of a year and a completely different second half of the year, and both halves were equal to or greater than the whole.
Yes.
Because the first half of the year, he is setting up a story arc with Johnny Knoxville in the Royal Rumble, and then carrying Johnny Knoxville and his ilk to a lot of people's nominee for match of the year and a lot of people's favorite WrestleMania match of all of them.
It's definitely the most entertaining.
It did not make my list for match of the year.
I'm talking about in general. Like I've seen it on top 10 lists and whatnot.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is it didn't make my list of match of the year, but it's my favorite match of the year.
Do you know what I almost put as my thing for moment of the year? I'm not lying. Like this almost was my moment of the year. Is Wee Man body slamming Sami Zayn because that was perfect. It was one of the most perfect body slams ever.
Once this story arc with the Bloodline has been written, I'm going to be very interested to look at the Inevitable collection on the network of how it started and how it ended, because I'm trying to remember at what point after WrestleMania he started kind of tagging along and trying to ingratiate himself to anybody in the Bloodline that would,
About June.
Okay. But like the second half of the year, then he's spent all of this time and all of this blood, sweat, and tears finding a family, and he's found it now. And now we get to take a look at, the inevitable fall of the House of Usher sort of thing.
They are going to rip our collective hearts out, just like Molaram did in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I watched the beginning of SmackDown, and even you can see it coming now, even there.
Oh yeah, because apparently Roman verbally chewed him about 7 new assholes.
Well, Roman didn't lose in the tag match last week. Roman didn't lose. Sami did.
Right.
So you see how it goes from there.
Oh yeah, it's starting to be written already.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why Sami. This was pretty much a no-brainer for me, because I can't think of a guy or a gal who had 2 halves of a year where he was doing upper echelon work no matter what storyline he was involved in.
Mhm.
I completely agree. Isaac, you've been a little bit quiet on this one, so chime in and then chime in so we can move on.
Okay, look, I'm feeling real oozy about this, really. The bottom line of it is
Stop that
Stop
right there.
talking now.
That right there. The fucking word oozy. I mean, my God.
Get to the merch stand before they sell out.
Oh my, dude, they had a license to print money before they could even print the damn word on a T-shirt.
Hashtag, it's on Twitter. Hashtag Uzi.
But here's the one point because you did that, I gotta bring this up, and then I'll hand it back to you, Isaac, and I promise I'll shut up. Week after week after week, we're watching Sami Zayn in the ring live on television with Solo Sikoa, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns. And Sami Zayn does something or says something, and every other member of the bloodline looks like Jimmy Fallon on Saturday Night Live trying to not break character during Don't Fear the Reaper.
Solo Sikoa was good at for a couple of weeks, and now even he stopped trying. He's like, screw it, I don't care. I'm going to have a laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
You can see you come out more sometimes.
The night Sami Zayn said that Jay wasn't feeling oozy, you do not see the man's face that long because he was hiding strategically behind Roman Reigns. But Paul Heyman is about to die.
And there's also been times during this whole thing where Sammy's out there cutting promos and getting over, and you'll see Heyman off to one side, and he's got a smile on his face about 10 miles wide because of how proud he must be of Sammy having this moment. You know there's got to be some pride there for him.
Isaac.
As I was saying, I'm feeling oozy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the bottom line of it. Sami Zayn, I'm not going to sit here and say that he hasn't been putting in work because he has been murdered. I don't want to say killing it, murdering. I want to say mass murdering it because he's killed everyone in the bloodline at the same damn time. And not that any of the other nominees have not been good. They have been great. But when you're in the godlike status and then you go to Olympus and you're on Olympus, there's no one else. You ain't messing with nobody else. That's all I gotta say.
All I gotta say is they could finish writing this story arc in a way that it would make sense for Sammy to be the one to beat Roman at WrestleMania. I'm not saying they will do it, but they could easily do it and get the crowd behind him just as much, if not more, than they had the crowd behind Bryan Danielson going into WrestleMania 30.
I agree.
Yeah, it feels like that.
I completely agree.
So let's go ahead and move on as Brian is changing his tie into a green and white one, another green and white. Which apparently Brian has a shitstorm of green ties. As we move into my favorite category of the year, KD, do you have the document up? Can you give us the nominees?
I do indeed.
The nominees for worst performer of the year. Wait, no. Wait.
Okay.
Wait, I forgot. Hang on. I forgot, Brian. We forgot. We renamed this last year.
Yes, we did.
Please, KD, please give us the nominees for the Nia Jax Memorial Worst Performer of the Year.
The award for the Nia Jax Memorial, aka my Whole of the Year award. Ronda Rousey, CM Punk, Jade Cargill, and Ric Flair.
Brian looks like he's about to crack, so I'll do this. This was
it's fine. Everything is Bullet Club is fine.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Yes.
I have heard that be said.
Your winner of the Nia Jax Memorial Worst Performer of the Year is Jade Cargill.
Back to
Boo.
back, boys and girls. Second straight year. Congratulations, Jade Cargill, for being an absolute trash. This is the only comment I will make about Jade Cargill, and I will give this up to the rest of the floor. Jade Cargill in 2022 beat more tomato cans than I did as a kid with a BB gun.
Don't know how to process that.
Yeah, I got that. Jay Cargill, they always say if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I'm gonna lose my voice for the rest of the year on saying anything towards her. Let's just, let this be poison. Let this go down quick.
Hey, Isaac.
Yeah.
I would like to hear you take your shot at the most appropriate one of my catchphrases that could be used right now. Because you don't want to talk about this. You want to pass it along to someone else. So what would I say here?
Why am I going
No. Thank you. Moving on.
I would use the term next.
Yep. So
just me.
Isaac and I both voted for Jade Cargill. So and Brian voted for CM Punk. We'll let Brian defend that or explain his reasoning, not defend it, because there's reasons and they're valid. Brian voted for CM Punk, and Ric Flair got the nomination and the vote from Mr. Hinken over across the pond. Brian, your reasoning for voting for Choderson Punk.
His birthday.
A lot like I said earlier about Sammy and his two halves of 2022 being stellar for various reasons. I also cannot think of another example of a guy taking a blowtorch a flamethrower to all of the goodwill that he had generated the year before. I sat live on this show, the second ever episode of Rampage, crying because the guy came back in Chicago, and it was one of the most perfect re-debuts I've ever seen.
It was the moment of the year last year.
Yes. And then he proceeded to have wonderful feuds. He proceeded to work with young talent, put them over. He proceeded to have great matches this year. The angle with MJF was a beautiful soap opera.
Chef's kiss.
You know. And then he started making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. My God, dude, stop stage diving. Just stop.
Yeah.
And then apparently old wounds are the hardest to heal because he's bringing up the Colt Cabana stuff, and he's bringing up, I don't agree with this, and he's shooting on Hangman Page, who wasn't even involved in a storyline with him anymore, and all this stuff. And it's just, I guess my vote for him was just because of how pissed I was that he took all that goodwill that he had earned and served up everybody a big plate of told you so. Everything everybody ever said about me is correct. How difficult I am to work with and how I hold grudges. Excuse me while I have another lime seltzer, eucalyptus seltzer, and eat a muffin. I still cannot get over that.
He put that bakery over more than he put over anybody else in the history of AEW.
Right. And I mean, your boss is sitting right next to you, for crying out loud.
I have to be honest. The media scrum, or as I have come to know it as brawl out, I lost respect. What little respect I had regained for Punk was vaporized with that. What little respect I had for Tony Khan was vaporized with that. And what little faith I still had in AEW vaporized with all of that.
I'm of a different opinion with this, like very much so. Like in a weird way though, like so CM Punk when he came back didn't give a crap, to be honest. I used to like CM Punk before, back when he was in WWE and that, but the way he left and listening to him talk, I very quickly decided, oh, this guy's a dick. That's just kind of been my opinion. So when he came back, I didn't really care that much. I was like, it's going to take the focus off everyone else. And then he surprised me a bit with some of the stuff he did, though. It was better. Like, he tried a bit more. But then him going for the title, I didn't like that. But when it comes to the scrum, I mean, he went too far with some of the stuff he was saying, but at the same time, he was only saying stuff, you know. To me, it kind of felt like part of it was that he did too good of a job starting to go heel. Like, that was the beginning of a heel turn, something in his head as well. And like the thing with like Colt Cabana, for example, that was more, he was shooting on the journalists, weren't he, quote unquote journalists, because they kept saying that a lot of the stuff of Cole going to AEW to Ring of Honor was due to Punk. Yeah, but in this situation, I don't like the Bucks and that. I like Omega now. Actually, I used to not like Omega, but I've turned around on him. Yeah, I think they were in the wrong, the Bucks and Omega. Like when it comes to the whole brawler situation.
I don't think anybody was in the right. I think it was I think
Yeah,
it was the worst of the worst. It left a massive black eye on the promotion that I don't think it has recovered from yet. I don't even know if it can recover from that, because
the worst thing is they could have capitalized on that, even though they could have done something from that still, instead of pretend it wasn't happening. You know, the
No.
casual audience is just like had no idea what was going on. You know,
Isaac,
One, they couldn't. You can't sit here and act like this didn't happen. We can't go back and say, you know what, it was a shoot. It wasn't. We can't go back and say, you know, the night that Jericho faced Triple H on Monday Night Raw, the first match, and he beat him, and then go back 10 minutes later and say, no, that never happened. We're gonna erase this from the books. That doesn't work that way. They messed up. You know, whether whoever was in the wrong was in the wrong. Brian, I agree with you. He had some points where he totally messed up. He blew himself up. But there's an old saying that says, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe it. And we stood here, we know what CM Punk is. We knew what he was about. We still wanted him to come back. I'm one of those people. I'm like Brian. The night he came out, oh my God, my head exploded. I'm not even gonna lie about it.
Oh yeah, still that night I couldn't help but feel kind of emotional watching that. I'm not gonna lie either.
beautiful.
Like straight up.
Sit there and not be at that
You
moment.
see the happiness in his face as well. That was a lovely thing to see.
But he showed you who he was. And the fact of the matter is, it could have been in 6 months. It could have been a year from now. It could have been in 5 years. But we knew it's too much of a ticking time bomb. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You just didn't know when it was going to come.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't wrong. All right, let's shift gears for just a moment, because there was another vote that was put out here. And I just want to hear the comedic stylings of one Katie Hinken going into detail. Hey, I'm laying out of this one. Isaac, Brian, I'm going to ask you guys to do the same. KD, why did you vote for Flair?
Don't get me wrong, I'm not a monologuer anyway, but if you want to actually see the comedic side of this performance of Ric Flair, then just rewatch the performance of Ric Flair. It's kind of hard referring to it as a performance at all. It was more, I mean, I don't know, the match was like, how long? Does anyone know how long it was?
No.
It was very long. And I know he spent like a good 15, 20 minutes laid out in the ring or on the side. I know, didn't he lose consciousness twice in it or something? He can't remember the last 10 minutes of it. I mean, just obviously, there's no way to put it into words.
That's because he's drunk. That's why he doesn't remember shit.
Oh, that's probably true as well. But the dude had died already. I don't know about anyone else. Did you watch the match?
Yes, I watched it once because I needed to see the car crash.
Did you watch it like live, or
No.
were you like me and had to wait to make sure he wasn't dead before you
Yeah,
watched it?
that's exactly what I did. I waited a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
No, weeks.
No, I seriously did. I was
It
waiting
took
for
you
like
that long to find out whether he died in the ring or not.
I was waiting for residual effects. Because at the
Oh.
same time, I also thought the dumbass would be an idiot. It would be an idiotic twat enough to go do another last match 2 weeks later.
It's still coming.
Wait,
It's
he
still coming.
did.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a match in Puerto Rico.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
That's weird. I had no idea about that.
I can't remember who he wrestled, but it was a tag team match, and Andrade was his tag team partner again.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh God, I hope he was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I need to see that now. I need to see it.
The bottom line of it is, and let me jump in here real quick, and I'm not trying to step on your toes, Katie, but look, Ric Flair had the best send off he could have ever had when it came to the WWE, and then him and his damn ego, which we all know is literally in God mode, had to keep going.
No, bro, he went to Impact because he needed the money. Like straight
up
needed the money because he was on divorce. He was on divorce number 900.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disgruntle anyone for never say never in wrestling. A retirement is a retirement, etc. You know, Mick Foley did it. Everyone did it. But when you've not only almost already died once and been brought back, but you're about to turn 80. You're very soon going to turn 80, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to not getting into. I was worried about him getting to the ring. While I was watching it, I couldn't help but think, you know what? Maybe what I read was wrong. Maybe he did die, and I still felt worried as hell the whole time. You could not enjoy it. There was nothing to enjoy either, but you couldn't enjoy it. Apart from Jeff Jarrett, that was cool. I like Jeff Jarrett. I don't know why.
Real quick. Ric Flair, say October, November, December, January, February. Ric Flair is 4 months younger than my mother. One of these two people looks like a 73, 74-year-old person. The other one looks like hammered shit. By the way, my mother does not look like hammered shit.
I hope not.
And if you did, you were going to get hammered by your mom later tonight. I could saying that.
Isaac, why the hell do you think I mentioned it the way I did? I'm serious. I'm legit using Mama Rant mode as a reference. Like, they're the same age, and Flair looks and Flair looks like walked over ass.
You know why you did it? I'm just saying.
Hey, Isaac, how long have you known me, and how long have you known me to be to when I'm going to make a point like that to be carefully worded?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to watch your mouth. That's basically.
Especially when it's on recording.
We know what you're doing. I'm just saying.
And for the record, what I just said, I literally said to my mother a week ago. I'm like, one of you looks like your age, and the other one looks like hammered shit.
Like when it comes to podcasting or being on stage or anything, I try to not adhere to political correctness as much as possible. I'm not going to say anything about my mum, though, because she will slap me around the head. She drives a mobility scooter. She will find a way to dropkick me.
I said it the way I said it because trust me, I do not want that smoke from Mama Rant mode.
Ooh.
But Mama Rant mode will hear this and she will laugh because she's like, oh, he went there. He went there. He ain't wrong, but he went there. Yeah. 1 second. For the record, you were asking about it. The televised Ric Flair's last match with Andrade when they faced Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
27 minutes.
I wonder if it was supposed to go that long and they were just waiting for him to get back up.
No.
For the record, the only non-battle royal match. Well, there were only 3 matches that weren't a battle royal that went over 10 minutes. Rey Fenix beat Bandito, Laredo Kid, and Black Taurus. Josh Alexander and Jacob Fatu went to a no contest. The Rey Fenix 4-way match was 11:50. Josh Alexander and Jacob Fatu was 10.5. And the Motor City Machine Guns beat the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, and that went 10:50.
I love those guys.
Oh, I do too. I love both of those tag teams. But
I love both.
But those matches add another 15 minutes.
My goodness. You know what this match needs? Let's bring out Scott Norton. Just
love you, RJ, wherever you are. Let's go ahead and move on to.
I already did my wardrobe change for this one. So
we know. To most improved wrestler of the year. I'll handle the nominees for this one. Your nominees are Ricky Starks, Michael Cole, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and the WWE as a whole. But your winner, Dominic Mysterio. It was initially, now Katie, you'll have your moment. It was initially a 2-way tie between WWE as a whole and Dominic Mysterio. During our pre-show meeting, Isaac changed his vote. Isaac had voted for WWE as a whole. He joined Brian and I voting for Dominic Mysterio, leaving KD with his vote as WWE as a whole.
The difference between America and England, when we vote, we are sure about what we're voting for.
You trying to say I'm not sure about my shit?
No, dude.
I just made myself laugh pretending that English people know what they're voting for.
Leave it to the Brit. Leave it to the Brit to go hammer, nail. Hey.
We do the hammer nail well.
Hey, I ain't saying that he's wrong. But I'm also saying, but I'm not. Well, actually, I'm not saying he's not wrong, but I am saying that he's right. So we have our reasons because I mean, my honest opinion. I'll keep it quick. Dominic Mysterio is one of the best heels in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a heat-seeking magnet, and I love it. That's all I got. Brian, Isaac, do either one of you guys have anything quick to add to this, or can we just hand it to KD and let him have his moment?
I got something to jump in real quick, if you don't mind, B. Look, the magic of him going to Thanksgiving and Christmas, right there, solidifies everything that you need to know right there. Hey, mommy, this is mommy. Right there, boom. Mic drop it. Enough said. B, if you want to jump in, please do.
One of the things that we've talked about extensively on this show, for a heel to be good, the heel has to inhabit the character. You can't be a heel and go halfway.
No.
And he is leaning into this with, the way he's got the starter stubble kit going on the face and the mullet from 1985, Chico and the Man kind of thing. And the wife beater so he can show off his lame ass tattoos and all that. The way he like cuddles up to Rhea Ripley and then hides behind her and stuff like that. They're doing the chicken shit heel and all that. And then the Thanksgiving and Christmas bits made me uncomfortable because I don't like home invasion crap. It was done well one time in my opinion. Actually, I'll take that back 2 times. When
you
Stone
forgot about
Cold
Dexter
went
Lumis
looking
and The
for
Miz.
Brian Pillman. That made me uncomfortable. But it was still gripping television. And then you can call it schmaltz if you want, but when Triple H broke into Randy Orton's house, that had a little bit of a hard edge to it because Triple H was going to come and kick the shit out of Randy Orton and all that. But home invasion angles, generally speaking, I don't like. They make me uncomfortable because it's like, okay, we're blurring the lines here, but I guess that's the point. Dominic Mysterio went from a complete, I'm just tagging along with Dad and stuff like that, and I'm wearing the funky outfits like he does and all this, to doing what you want every progeny to do. You want them to make a name for themselves. Mm-hmm. It's what The Rock's daughter is doing in NXT right now.
Oh my God, she is good on the mic.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what we ask of every, not riding on your excuse me, parents' coattails and stuff like that. But let's find out who you are. Let's find out what your skill set is, and let's find out how you can make a name for yourself. I might not like what he's doing, but that's not the point. Not everybody's out here to be well liked. It's like Scott Hall used to say, rest his soul. I can make friends or I can make money. I've already got some friends. I like the money,
KD?
You know what? Originally, when I put like WWE overall, it's just because I couldn't think of anyone that felt like they'd improved like at all, including the nomination, including like the people I was thinking of didn't really grow because I was thinking like Hook, for example. Yeah, but I don't know. You know what? At the same time, I was thinking about it from a ring work point of view, and now you bring up like the whole gimmick side of this. I'm kind of finding it hard to argue now because when it comes to how much he's grown, gimmick wise, it's a whole nother level now. Like he's one of the most entertaining things on Raw in general.
And understand this, I've never had a problem with Dominic in the ring. I know what I'm getting.
I do.
And that's another reason why I put him down as most improved, because at the beginning, he had like 3 moves, and they were his father's moves pretty much, but he had to develop some stuff on his own. And now that, I think that's a good thing about working with guys like Finn Balor, you get, in Finn Balor and Edge and people like that, you get an education, and that's what he's gotten. He's gone to the learning tree.
Well, also keep in mind, he's got 3 very deep-rooted learning trees right next to him, because Finn Balor's not the only good wrestler in Judgment Day.
Right,
there's
Damian
2
Priest,
others.
Rhea Ripley, yeah.
You could easily learn. You could learn a lot of nuance from both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. They are both phenomenal talents. Balor's in a class all to himself, but the other 2 ain't nothing to sneeze at either.
Right. And not having a safety blanket of his dad as well is just going to make him improve more,
Completely agreed. So let's go ahead and move on to Brian. You need to start.
Yeah,
I'm. Catch up, asshole.
I thought somebody was going to say something else, and I thought I had more time, but I'm
Come on, Carrie Underwood. Come on, Carrie Underwood. You gotta keep up with these. No, I'm sorry. Come on, Sarah Jessica Parker. Let's go.
Carrie Underwood, the one that flashed her lady bits in that film.
No, I wasn't Carrie Underwood.
Who's that again?
What movie? Basic Instinct?
That sounds right. Oh, Sharon Stone, that's it. Yeah.
No,
that's
Carrie Underwood is a country music singer.
Oh, okay. That's not the right one at all.
Carrie Underwood at an award show that she hosted had multiple wardrobe changes, and then Sarah Jessica Parker at some award show changed wardrobe like 20 some odd times. So that's why I made the reference of both of them to Brian.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been worried this whole time because I don't know if you're aware of this. The last time a comedian was on an award show, it didn't go too well for him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You're referring to.
Yeah, this is very true. But no, hey, you're safe because whereas Brian can say something that offends me, and I can be at his house to slap the shit out of him in 20 minutes, and I can be at Isaac's house in about 35. I need multiple hours to get to
passport.
you.
And a passport.
Yeah, and a passport. And airfare.
Hours.
Yes.
Ish.
Yes, and have to get through customs. Yeah.
I am one of the people that agree. If you can get here by boat, then come on in. If you go through the effort of getting here by boat, then come
Yeah.
along in.
No, I ain't
No
boating. I
one's
can't
gonna
swim.
stop you.
I
Like,
can't swim. I ain't doing boat. Nope.
make sure it's a
Anyway,
really good boat.
Talk about boats right
let
now. Anyway.
go ahead and move on to the next category. Tag team of the year. Let's be honest. We got multiple nominees, but it's really only two teams that really matter. The nominees were the Acclaimed, Pretty Deadly, and
I do love the Acclaim. Not
oh,
gonna lie though.
everybody loves the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed, Pretty Deadly, and the Lucha Brothers. Didn't mention two different tag teams because it could go either way.
You know what would
You
be
know
good
what?
for next year? Just an idea to throw in there for next year. Maybe like stable of the year
Yeah,
/ trio. You know.
yeah. One of them is an honorable mention, and honestly and truly, we could easily make the argument to where both of these teams are just as deserving of getting this award.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? Your co-winners are FTR and the Usos. Because let's be honest, there's not a wrong answer. You know, because
I mean,
the point that we were originally going to make when we were doing our pre-show meeting, gang, is Brian, myself, and Isaac all voted for FTR. KD voted for the Usos. We were going to give KD the platform to be able to make his argument on, pretty much using what I just said. There's not really a wrong answer. I just called it audible right there at the last minute. I mean, because I think the four of us can agree. Not really a wrong answer there.
No, there really isn't.
No. The Usos are easily the best tag team that WWE has.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. The New Day has been great for years. The Street Profits have been extremely good for years. But the work that the Usos put in 2022 cannot be matched by any team under the WWE umbrella. And they might have very well had the best year of any tag team in WWE history.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
FTR, however, had one of the best years of any tag team in wrestling history.
If they'd have had the... Say again, sorry.
No, what, Isaac?
I was going to say ever.
Yeah, ever. KD, you were about to make a point.
I was just going to say that...
sorry. Go ahead, KD.
I was just going to say that... What was I going to say now? Yeah. If FTR had have won, say, the AEW tag titles as well, that might have put me over the balance, to vote for FTR.
If FTR is holding 4 belts simultaneously, albeit very briefly, because in a matter of weeks they lost a shot at the AEW championship, they lost the Ring of Honor, AAA, and IWGP tag team championships all within a span of a month. First off, that team deserves a damn break.
Yeah.
They need to heal.
Huh?
They need to heal.
Yeah, especially, I don't know if you guys follow Dax Harwood on Twitter, but he posted a wonderful picture on Twitter earlier today of his left butt cheek because he has a broken tailbone.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Would you like to know what Dax's left cheek and KD have in common right now?
They're both in England?
No.
They're both perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both perfect.
Yeah, the left butt cheek of Dax Harwood matches KD's shirt. We'll talk more about bruising. We'll talk more about bruising later.
I say it's like kind of like, I'm guessing it's like Cody's boob on his ass.
Yes, pretty much. It's bad. Like Oh my God! Just imagine having to sit down on that.
So you thought that was bad with an armpit in the middle of it. Imagine what it's like with a different kind of pit in the middle of it.
Yeah.
No, thank
Okay.
you. I'll pass.
Okay, guys, let's discuss. What would you rather have? Cody Rhodes' torn titty or Dax Harwood's half broken left butt cheek?
Torn titty? No doubt.
Torn titty all day. I can't set my ass down. Oh no.
No.
Yeah.
Brian,
I'll take.
you cannot do
Mhm.
the X.
No, Brian, you can't.
Eh?
You can't exit out. You have to answer.
No.
Torn titty or broken butt cheek?
The torn pectoral, obviously.
No. Torn titty or broken butt cheek? You have to answer one of those.
Pectoral muscle.
All those body parts are available.
Okay, I gotta say it, Brian. You fucking Boy Scout.
Proud of it. But give me the pectoral any day of the week because sitting and walking cannot be a thing right now for him.
Well, since I've been all about alliteration through all of this, the perforated pectoral. There we go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to get stabbed in the boob. That's different now.
Yeah, that's even worse. That's even worse. So let's go ahead and move on to male wrestler of the year. A lot of great nominees here, including, Brian, do we need to, Sarah Jessica, do we need to wait?
I'm really hoping there's a bow tie at the end. I don't know about anybody else.
There either better be a bow tie or a bolo tie at this point.
No, I can't pull off a bow tie. Sorry.
Everyone can pull off a bow tie. Bow ties are cool.
Pull off anything.
There you go. So that's the way. That's how you do it.
I can pull off anything.
All right. Okay. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, because as far as seeing people well dressed and everything else, I will honestly say this: I have never met nor seen a black man that could not pull off a bow tie. I'm just saying. I have never seen on television or in person a black man that cannot pull off a bow tie.
I'll tell you one. Jussie Smollett.
Oh God.
There you go.
Why don't you just? I ain't gonna say it.
He is not good with things around the neck. We have learned this.
The nominees for male wrestler of the year.
You want me to do that?
I got him. MJF, John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Dax Harwood, Seth freaking Rollins, Will Ospreay, and the winner of the Egie Award for 2023. Brian is shaking his head because he did not vote for this man. And Brian has already said, and I quote, "I'm going to pitch a hissy fit about this. So as soon as I mention names, Brian can go. And then KD can go right after that because KD voted alongside me for your winner. Acknowledge him, Roman Reigns."
P, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Rant mode on. Katie, are you all right?
Now I am.
Okay. Holy crap.
I started that far too early and I realised I didn't have any space, so I thought the only thing I could do is go down a bit.
Roman had a fantastic year. There's no doubt about that. By any measure, he was involved in great matches with Seth, great matches with Brock, great matches with Kevin Owens, great matches with I'm forgetting all the people that he had feuds with. Drew McIntyre, et cetera, et cetera.
Great reactions. Great reactions. Especially when so said, "I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says."
Yeah, I will acknowledge
look.
that. The reason I voted for Will Ospreay.
Oh.
No, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid from Dave Meltzer. But the reach of Will Ospreay cannot be overlooked. every promotion Will Ospreay shows up in, he takes your best, works with them, and turns out a restaurant quality match.
No question.
And he also increased his reach by showing up on AEW a couple of times this year and had some instant classics, one of which got nominated for Match of the Year, United Empire versus Death Triangle. Also, at Forbidden Door, the match with Orange Cassidy was a revelation. And the one I argued at the time had more pressure on it to deliver than any other match. And they did, by the way, in spades. And in preparation for the Iggy's late last year, I printed out the Wrestling Observer, star ratings. Will Ospreay showed up no less than 15 or 16 times on the first page alone.
Right, because he wrestled all of his matches in the Tokyo Dome, and that alone is worth 4 and 3/4 stars.
But when you watch those matches, when you take the Meltzer factor out of it, and you watch the match with an impartial lens, you can't help but think, my God, this guy can wrestle any style you want him to do. He was in there with big guys. He was in there with small guys. He was in there with comedy wrestlers. He was in there with technicians like him, and he delivered every single time. So, hissy fit off. I just felt like I couldn't pass up an opportunity to talk about how much his reach has broadened this year and how much my scope has broadened because of what I've been exposed to this year. Yes, Roman had a fantastic year, but he did it in one pond as opposed to Will Ospreay, who did it all over the place.
This is why I will disagree with you. When I look at Wrestler of the Year, I am not looking at just what they did inside a wrestling ring. I am looking at the entire package. And as far as presentation, as far as character development, as far as in-ring performance, everything singularly, ignoring anybody that they are working with, there is not a single soul in 2022 that came within miles of touching Roman Reigns. Omega, not even close. Okada, not even close. Ospreay, not even close. Dax Harwood, who had amazing matches with countless people, and he's a freaking tag team guy. Not any close.
I'm not going to lie. I had to look through the nominations, and when I read Dax Harwood, I was like, what? I was like,
dude, Dax.
I don't know why he was there.
Dude, all you need to do is go back and watch Dax Harwood and CM Punk on Dynamite. Done. Done.
Let me jump in real quick. Now, everything you just said about Roman, I also apply to the person I voted for, and that was Seth freaking Rollins. Now, we can sit here and talk about the outrageous things, outlandish outfits that he had. We can talk about his work. The fact that he worked with Cody in that match and pulled it off beautifully. Enough said. The fact that you are sitting here and you're listening to someone go into wherever he was last week and say, you know what, we're going to sing. And the whole crowd is going nuts. The way that they are going nuts.
Hey, keep talking. I'll be back.
Okay, go ahead. I thought you were about to cut me off. Like, what? Go ahead. The way that he has controlled everything that he has been able to control and been killing it, turning chicken salad into chicken shit. Chicken shit into chicken salad and killing it. And I mean just killing it. Mm-hmm. And you can't sit here and say, oh, wow, this was a bad match, because he's been killing it with everybody. Cody Rhodes.
Roman
Reigns.
Austin Theory.
Mm-hmm.
He's as much responsible for Austin Theory becoming what he is as anybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I'll become the next big thing after having a match with Seth. You know?
I also want to put in Riddle
Yes.
in the match.
Yeah.
I mean, classics he's put in this year. Now I understand Roman's Roman, and that's what it is this for this year. But Miles, he's close.
So,
He may
but
not be there, but he's a close second. He really, really is. You can't sit here and say he stood here Monday Night Rollins, and it is. We can't sit here and deny it.
to be fair, you're not wrong, man. That's the thing. I think I would just consider it more like a workhorse of the year. Do you know what I mean?
But someone's got to hold it down, and he's the only
Yeah,
one down on Monday Night Raw because Roman's not going to show up.
that's the problem. Yeah.
I'm real honest for the fact being, I was surprised that Roman was able to send the Usos, Solo, and our buddy Sami Zayn to Raw because I thought he might have forgotten where Raw was because he hasn't showed up damn long. And I mean, let's just be honest. Seth's Monday Night Rollins, and he's been killing it. He's put on banger after banger after banger.
Yep.
This is another category, I think, where there's no wrong answers. I
can agree with that.
There's a couple of wrong answers in here. Will Ospreay, not gonna lie, that's the wrong answer.
Okay, come on now.
I know that. He's done nothing of note for me. Like nothing of note this year. He's a great. This was in all as well at the same time. The first year where I'd heard his name loads, but I'd never really seen much of him, and I was really impressed when I saw him. Like, I keep hearing that people say he hasn't got good psychology in the ring, whereas I felt like in AEW, that's one thing that I really felt was different about him. The psychology he had, like in the ring, and and the fact that he had that good match with Ryan Cassidy. Like, I suppose for me, maybe it's because for me he feels more like a breakout person to me, because I just kind of got to know him,
Katie, one of the through lines on this show for me the last couple of years is the fact that I've broken out of the WWE bubble that I've been stuck in. Because as a child and as a teenager and then as a young adult, WWE was the only game in town for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And meeting the people that I've met now, the friendships that I developed from doing this podcast and stuff like that, one of which just came back into the frame over there.
Hi.
They've educated me to the fact that there's other promotions out there. Your New Japan, your Ring of Honor, your AAA, NXT and all that kind of stuff. And it's broadened my reach. It's broadened my mind and horizon to the fact that there's other wrestling out there that I need to check out and I need to get educated on. And you can find anything you want on YouTube. I mean, there's literally dozens, upon dozens of these matches from these guys available there. And I think that's what I based it on. Was it's more of like a note for everybody that, hey, I've broadened my mind. And then when I see a compilation list like what the Wrestling Observer puts out, like, my God, look at all these different people that this guy has wrestled, and look at how highly rated everything is. Yes, and we could say that about anybody's rating system. I mean, any rating system that you disparage or whatever is fine. That's where the vote for Ospreay came from. I'm not saying that Roman Reigns is a stiff and doesn't deserve your nominations and the award. I'm not saying that Seth Rollins does not deserve consideration.
I think it'd be a fair argument to say that.
In this category.
I think it'd be a fair argument as well to say that maybe Roman Reigns doesn't deserve it for the fact that he's never there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, there's no right answer in that anyway.
And the other side of that coin is good on him. I mean, I think that's part of, he realizes with his health and everything like that, I'm a commodity that needs to be protected, and the company agrees with him,
But the problem, it's harder as well, because then going to that, like, it's very easy to go from there and say, but he wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for, say, Seth Rollins holding down, like, Raw,
That's
being
fair.
the main champion with the US title, essentially. So it's hard, yeah.
I agree. Excuse me while I get back ahead of the curve here.
There he goes, which leads us, as he is And wardrobe change number 912 leads us to our 7th out of 8 categories, Female Wrestler of the Year. And your nominees are Mandy Rose, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, and your winner with 2 votes, Bianca Belair. Both Brian and I voted for Bianca. Mandy Rose got the vote from Isaac, and Liv Morgan got the vote from KD. My very quick answer to Bianca is a simple fact that she has been the most consistent performer on the mic, in the ring, etc., all year long. Not necessarily not far and away better like Roman has been against every other man in wrestling, but she's been the most consistent. And that's my argument on that. KD, Isaac, you want to have the floor and have a hissy fit as to because I just like the hissy fit line of Brian's. We're going to call them all hissy fits. Because I'll have a hissy fit on the last one.
I feel one coming on for this one for me.
We'll go ahead.
I'll go next.
All right. Well, one of you go. What's your hissy fit about the person you voted for? Katie, you voted for Liv, and Isaac, you voted for Mandy. So
you're welcome to go first, Isaac.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that Bianca Belair is deserving of this, but I also want to sit here and say Mandy Rose held it down for the NXT. She improved miraculously, as we've talked about before, from just being just select eye candy to actually being a dominant wrestler, and holding it down to what she was doing before she was let go. Okay, let's just sit here and say she had that title for a year, and she held it down, and she did what she needed to do. So I'm not mad at you guys for picking Bianca, because that is an excellent choice. I do want to sit here and acknowledge that Mandy Rose did what Mandy Rose did. KD, your pick was
Liv.
I love Liv. I love that what she did. She deserves everything that she got, and that's not a wrong answer either. And that's and the KD, I leave it to you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Mandy Rose. I'm not a big NXT person myself, especially when he went to just before he went to 2.0 and so on. But I get that with Mandy Rose from what I've seen as well, and just the fact he's had it for so long. Bianca Belair, I think I've said this before. I'm just kind of been bored of her. She's consistent. I get the pick completely. Obviously, it's another one that it's not wrong at all. I just can't put my vote behind Bianca. She just really bores me. There's something missing to it. I don't think she's very good on the mic. She's obviously a great athlete. She's.
Yeah.
You know what, as well, though? I think I got really annoyed by the constant grabbing of the of hair. I don't know what it is. Once I've noticed it, the constant going to it, I think it's just hard to unsee it now. So that ain't helping either. But as far as why I voted for Liv Morgan, though, she was close for me as most improved as well. Over the year, because she suddenly got, she was suddenly main eventing, going for women title, and that she seemed believable, and her character kind of developed. She seemed to get better in the ring, and then even after losing, it felt like her character kind of continued to develop too. I mean, she's kind of lost in the shuffle again now. God knows what's going on with the SmackDown Women's Division now, anyway. But yeah, it was very hard. I wasn't confident in that choice. Rhea Ripley, she's had an amazing year too. If she'd have had a title or something, it would have been her for me.
I will say this about, even though I did vote for Bianca Belair, she had the best year. In my opinion, she's deserving of the award of, Female Wrestler of the Year. But as far as these nominees are concerned, she's not the best wrestler. I'm looking at this list, and I see 3 women on this list that Bianca cannot touch. Ironically enough, none of them are American.
So, I don't think I agree with Tony Storm.
Tony's
She can't wrestle. She can't beat Tony Storm.
no.
Not a chance.
KD, Tony Storm cannot be held accountable to the fact that she is a phenomenal wrestler and with very few credible women to work with in AEW. Very few.
Even before,
and Tony Storm is not great enough to be able to carry anyone to, drag someone to a 4.5 star match. She's not that good, but she is a very good wrestler that if you put her in the ring with someone that can, that can hold their own, Tony Storm can and will have a very good match. Look at what she's done with Britt Baker. Look at what she's done with Jamie Hayter. Look at what she did throughout her entire NXT UK, and WWE run. She had great matches. The problem is the women's division in AEW is about as top heavy as the tag team division in WWE. There's some really great talent, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
And one of them has a belt.
Yeah. And not only that, Isaac, she not only has a belt, she also has 2 Egie Awards.
She's special.
Two Egie Awards
something.
back to back for worst wrestler of the year.
Get that T-shirt out right now. Back to back.
Back to back. Hey, 48-0 and back to back.
Yeah.
48-0 and back to back. Which, since Brian's already changed the tie, that brings us to our final topic of the night. And then we got a little something fun for y'all afterwards. Brian?
I thought we were going to do that fun thing first.
You're right. We absolutely were, because more or less match of the year should technically be like in the Oscars, Best Picture. It's always the last award. So, as your intermission,
look at us daring to talk about ourselves in the same breath as the Oscars, man. The unmitigated gall.
No unmitigated gall. We had the cachet to be able to do this.
Okay.
Anyway, what we have for you is something that my friend Chris Lemke and I used to do every year on my old podcast, Audibly Offensive Radio, which was just primarily just a sports podcast.
Shout out, Chris Lemke. What's up, brother?
Shout out to the son of a bitch, Chris Lemke, who has won his fifth straight fantasy football league title, and tying Brian for most career fantasy league titles. I'd like to point out that Brian's only been in the league for 7 years, and Brian and Chris has been in for the whole time. So just saying there. But Chris won our fantasy football league this year by beating his son in the finals. I hate fantasy football. I hate the damn Lemke family. I hate both him and my godson. All I want next year is for someone to beat Chris, make sure he cannot win the title, and then I'm shutting the freaking league down.
Why would you do that?
That way,
if I win, it's 6 out of 8. Why would you stop a good thing?
Because that way, the last champion isn't Chris Lemke.
Oh, you're willing to burn it all to the ground. I appreciate that.
Yes, I am willing to burn it all to the ground to keep that rat bastard other best friend of mine. See, I have 3 best friends, all 3 of them in our league, and as much as Chris Lundy, who you've never seen on any of this stuff because he doesn't watch wrestling, as much as I love Chris Lundy, and Chris Lundy is a vital part of my life, right now, my best best friend is the gentleman in the gold tie right there. I mean, just, you know why? Because he is my Obi-Wan. He is my only hope.
Wow.
And he gives good head, I'm guessing.
I don't want to know. Don't need that visual.
Moving on. So what we have for you, in the vein of audibly offensive radio, is predictions for next year. Predictions guaranteed to go wrong. Which basically gives us the creative license to come up with the most absurd, funny shit we can come up with that serves as a prediction for 2023. Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. Yes, we know. Brian crossed himself, so, and I remember Austin Powers saying that as he did it once in one of those 3 movies. So, you know, there you go. Anyway, so
now I got to start the process of composing myself all over again.
Yes.
You can go to hell.
Oh, we're already there. What are you talking about? Go.
Love you. Anyway.
Already there.
Who would like to give their first prediction guaranteed to go wrong? Isaac's going for it. Let's have it, big man.
Jay Cargill actually learns how to wrestle.
Somebody, I knew one of you assholes were gonna beat me to it because I have here literally my first one. Jade Cargill will wrestle a 5-star match.
I got the next one.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. Thomas, Katie, you.
The creative side of WWE will continue to improve month after month.
I have a feeling you're gonna be dead right on that one being guaranteed to go wrong. I just have a bad I got a bad feeling about this.
I got the bad feeling too.
Yeah, Brian, you have one, or should I go ahead and give another one of mine?
I have one. WWE triumphantly brings back the return from injury videos from yesteryear, set to Creed's "My Sacrifice," and they debut with Cody Rhodes. I mean, those were some great. When you are with me,
I knew.
All right.
For a Christian rock band as well. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get much better than that.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're talking about the sacrifice something in Christianity. God knows what they're on about.
That's some Old Testament shit right there, man. Anyway, here's mine. Here's my next one. The winner of the 2023 Royal Rumble, and I'm beating him to the punch. Simon Dean.
Oh, just wait.
I thought the winner was Bastion Booger.
Was what?
Bastion Booger.
Oh, good God. Abe Knuckleball Schwartz.
I think actually what will happen is
wins hands down.
Ric Flair will win after entering at the number 1 spot.
And sleeping for an hour?
Probably.
Yes.
In a recliner?
Yes. All right, Brian.
With a Schlitz?
Who's next?
Isaac, get in there.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second on that one because
I got 2 more. I don't know about y'all, but I got 2 more.
I could keep. I'm just coming up with these as we go. I didn't know we were supposed to write these down.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Well, that's.
I could fire up a few more.
Katie. That's why Katie's awesome. Somebody go.
AEW develops broadcast TV shows for every day of the week. And they still fail to find airtime for people like Miro, Andrade El Idolo, Ruby Soho, Abaddon, Ethan Page, and Eddie Kingston.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because as far as my predictions are concerned, within the next couple of months, your AEW World Champion will in fact be the Redeemer himself, Miro, who will wrestle every every Dynamite and Rampage live on television, every pay-per-view, every named show that Tony Khan wants to have, Battle of the Belts 97 and Winter is Coming and, you know,
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing and all these other stupid, you know, different special names he wants to give.
Winter is coming for the Forbidden Door that's got a revolution going through its holiday bash.
Forbidden Revolving Door or whatever.
There you go.
Anyway, he will wrestle all of these matches and he will remain undefeated. And on December 27th, the last Dynamite of 2023, he will lose in an open challenge to Andrade El Idolo.
The whole time I wish that was an actual prediction, like I wanted that to happen until you got to that.
I was going to try and write all that down, but I put the pen down a long time ago.
For the record, Miro and Andrade, I would pay to see that match.
I would too.
It'd probably be a great match, to be fair.
That would be a fantastic match. I'll get my last one out because honestly, I don't think it's very good. Tony Khan will own WWE by December, and he'll then absorb them into his broadcasting and display them in the same wonderful, outstanding production values that he's used with Ring of Honor.
Which is nothing. Anyway.
Which is as useful as an asshole right here on your elbow.
Oh, that might be more helpful, to be honest.
Actually, yeah. That would actually, you're right. You're right.
One more. MJF's title reign will actually end up being as good as we thought it was going to be. It's not. It's not going too great right now for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he was contractually obligated to appear in Seattle. That's what that's what the graphic said. On the MJF is contractually obligated to appear. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, I think that was.
I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I've just been catching snippets online.
I know that match. I know that match between Darby and Joe was a freaking kick-asser.
That was banging,
and I actually love how Jericho is putting people over.
Oh yeah,
that too.
It's great to see.
He's always done that, really.
What, KD?
He's always done that, really.
He has, yeah. I'm just talking about right now, like, because it's front of mind. He did it with Action Andretti.
That was great, Action Andretti. That was amazing. Like
he's doing Ricky Starks and stuff like that. I mean, it's great to see.
Was that 2022? Was that was 2022? Wasn't it?
Was late last year.
A couple weeks ago.
Action Andretti was 2 weeks ago.
That could have easily been for me, you know, if I'd have thought about it. I could have very easily had that as my moment of the year as well, because there were I can't remember the last time when I had an actual, like, you're watching a match and you jump up. Like, I can't remember the last time I jumped up in reaction to something happening in a wrestling match that I had no idea, like, in no way thought it was going to happen, you know. It fully caught me completely off guard like that did.
Don't lie when I ask you guys this question. Raise your hand if you'd ever heard of Action Andretti before he showed up on AEW.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Bury in my hands. I can tell you the last time that I had one of those holy shit, I can't believe that person just won moments, when Paige beat AJ for the title the night after WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming at all.
No. We didn't.
Well, here's my last one. And Patch beat me to the punch, but I think my use of this man is a little bit better than Patrick's use of this man.
Of course it is.
Danhausen.
Hey.
Begins his very nice, very evil, hostile takeover of AEW with the formation of a new stable. He recruits Josh Woods and Brock Anderson as the two up-and-comers who protect Danhausen at all costs. And he asks a legendary performer to fill the Ric Flair role. Welcome to AEW, Simon Dean. Book it, Tony.
I've got one more. Got another one. Before I forget, Uncle Howdy is revealed to actually be the Shockmaster.
Oh.
Okay, I got one more.
Can we get him, like, legitimately? If I ask you to do it, will you ban this idiot from this show now? 3 times he's been on in the past month, and 3 times I can't work under these conditions anymore. He's got this hard on for the Shockmaster, and it's just he's over here. He's making gifts. He's making
It's
jokes
as hard
about
as the
how
wall
he
was
being a
supposed to be.
Shockmaster, and it's pissing me off. You better talk to him.
KD, I need you to say that again.
I don't know if Ryan can handle it.
Please say it again.
I forgot how I said it. What did I say exactly?
Brian was talking
Uncle
about how he was
Howdy.
having a hard time about all this.
Oh, that. Oh. Okay. Yeah. It's almost as hard. I'm as hard as the wall should have been. That's what I said. Yeah.
First off, Brian, who the hell do you think you are chastising KD for having a hard on for a character like the Shockmaster when you keep dropping the name Simon Dean on this show, you hypocrite?
Well, I mean,
In your own
expect
defense,
me to
Simon
do
Dean
it.
is attractive. I get it. He's a attractive
Nobody's
man, not as
expecting me to
beautiful
do
as the
that sort
Shockmaster.
of thing. KD is a comedian. I mean, he should, not go for the low-hanging fruit of the Shockmaster.
I beg to differ. The Shockmaster is very high-hanging fruit. I look up to that man and I think, what would Shockmaster do? That's how I live my life.
Yeah, first off, that is not low-hanging fruit because with the Shockmaster, that affords you the opportunity to be very, very creative in how you do that. It adds a whole new when you decide to include Shockmaster in a joke, it automatically adds about 5 or 6 points in degree of difficulty. The East German judge automatically has to give that a 9. Automatically.
Are you telling me Michael Jordan doing the slam dunk contest too?
Now of course with KD being from where he is and those degree of difficulty points, the UK judge has to give that 5 stars from the Tokyo Dome.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't want to get into
fair,
the justice system of this country, believe me.
The Lovebird and I were having dinner the other night, and we were talking about what, has been going on in the show. And she's a big fan of you, by the way, Katie. She's very happy that you're on the show.
For her.
And I mentioned Shockmaster, and she watched a little bit of wrestling when she was.
No.
She needed to be reminded about it because she never watched WCW either. So I pulled it up on YouTube, and I showed it to her.
Oh no.
And she busted out laughing. She's like, "Oh, that," because the way I was describing it didn't make sense to her at first. She's like, "Well, what about the wall?" I said, "Let me just show you. It's better if I just show you." And the Lovebird, took the phone and took a look at it. And when the moment happened that we all reference here, she just busted out laughing. She's like, "Yeah, that is pretty bad." She goes, "How did everybody else keep a straight face?" And I said, "Well, most of them didn't."
Listen carefully. They didn't.
Yeah, most of them, Psycho Sid, can't do a promo anyway, so he's done.
Either.
My favorite part of all of that is Flair. Oh God.
My favorite part of it all is the fact that ignoring the falling through the wall, ignoring the wall in general, they thought that outfit and that helmet was a good idea to begin with. That's the best part.
Yeah, I said stonewashed jeans and a bedazzled stormtrooper helmet, and she thought I was kidding. I'm like, no, you need to look at this.
And
one more.
And real quick. And meanwhile, if you ever go back on WWE Network or Peacock and you watch those old roundtable discussions, Legends of Wrestling, and they discuss the Shockmaster, Dusty Rhodes tells this amazing story about how Vince McMahon and Dusty Rhodes were at a bar one night arguing for hours over what was worse, the gobbledygooker or the Shockmaster. Dusty
I
goes
forgot
on
all
to tell
about
the
that.
story. Dusty goes on to tell the story about the Shockmaster, and he found out from his wife Michelle that Cody, young Cody, we're probably talking my daughter's age at this point, had some friends over, and the Shockmaster came out. Keep in mind, the Shockmaster is Dusty's brother-in-law, Fred Ottman, Michelle's brother. And he falls ass over tea kettle. The helmet comes off, and Cody, according to Dusty, Cody looks at his friends and goes, "I think that was Uncle Fred."
Okay. Last thing I got is Ronda Rousey actually gets over.
No. You could have said the
She
same thing
was.
about Shane McMahon in
That's
the
the
Royal
problem.
Rumble last year.
I mean,
Oh, he
I
didn't
was
actually
actually thinking about changing my vote for worst performer from Punk to Rousey because I forgot what a horrible year she had. That's the problem with Ronda. She was over 2 or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
She's another one who took all the goodwill and, took a flamethrower to it.
No. She wiped her ass with it. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, it's clear she doesn't want to be there.
No, she's.
You think?
Hey, you know how NWO used to be for life. Ronda Rousey's just fold of money.
Right.
Yeah.
If I could make a request
Yes.
of my fellow podcast mates, if we could get this train back on the track because we have a real hootenanny to finish off the show here tonight. Our match of the year.
Well, first
One
off,
final Egie for the evening.
First
One more
off,
for the
Brian,
road.
First off, Brian, how dare you insinuate that this show ever goes off the rails?
I'm dumbfounded by that statement.
I am shocked. I am hurt. Your insinuation, it is a travesty and a sham and a mockery. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a travesty mockery.
I was about to ask, do
Yeah.
any of you actually participate in the show every week and realize that, oh crap, we're off the rails here, especially a show as prestigious as this one, the 2022 Egie Awards, the third annual, I might remind you, the third annual.
Fourth, yeah. Could have told
Oh,
you
that's
that.
right, 19, 20, 21, fourth annual, I'm sorry.
You'll catch up one day, Ryan, don't worry.
Who's off the rails now? Oh,
exactly.
God. Okay.
The only reason that we don't have this song on the intro to the show is because it'll get a copyright claim and shut down and shut down faster than a Walmart in Paducah, Kentucky. Is Highway to Hell. That should be the theme song to this show because but yeah. It's a travesty mockery at the fact that you insinuate that this show would not go off the rails. Now, because you did say that, we will now go back to the shenaniganery. See, I had to get them both in today. The shenaniganery that is the Egie Awards and our final category for Best Picture, also known as Match of the Year. Here are your nominees. From AEW Revolution, CM Punk and MJF in that dog collar match. From Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes and his torn titty versus Seth freaking Rollins. From AEW Dynamite on August 24th, United Empire versus Death Triangle. From Death Before Dishonor on July 23rd, FTR and the Briscoes. From Forbidden Door, Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. And from Clash at the Castle, Gunther versus Sheamus. Your winner with 2 votes, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins from Hell in a Cell. Excuse me real quick. Let me get my soapbox here and Time for me to have a hissy fit. As great as that match was, what made it uncomfortable was the fact that Cody was injured. What made it uncomfortable was the fact that we had to watch Cody power through that match literally with one arm. Watching him in legitimate pain was the uncomfortable part of that match. The fact that it won this award is solely in part to the determination and the iron will of Cody Rhodes. I'm not saying it was not a great match, but there is only one match on this entire list of nominees that gave me a visceral reaction of, oh my God, how the hell are these two guys standing? And that would be from Clash at the Castle, Gunther and Sheamus. Those two behemoth men beat as we would say down south, beat the dog shit out of each other. And it was horrifically beautiful. It was old school, hard nosed. That match could have been, instead of being held in Wales, that match could have been held in early January in the Tokyo Dome, and it would have fit perfectly. Tomohiro Ishii.
I will not disagree with that.
Tomohiro Ishii and Minoru Suzuki are looking at that match going, for me, that's match of the year. No blood, no gimmicks, no extra hype needed by bringing in talent from Japan. Two European monstrous men. As Big E would say, big meaty men slapping meat.
Can I go next in that case then?
Yes.
Yeah, Gunther and Sheamus. It was fun and all. I agree as well that I forget the name of Tomohiro Ishii and the other one you said.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, they would love that too. Just a lot of slapping though, isn't it? Just a lot of slapping on the chest and that. I'm really bored of that, man. I mean, the other day we saw it with Jericho. We saw it with Jericho in that steel man with the flat head.
Kitty, long before you came
on, busted him open on the boobie.
Long before you came on this show, the three of us had a conversation one night, and the question was simply, name your price. How many zeros are on that check before the decimal place before you are willing to take one chop from Walter? One chop.
A chop or a hand slap, though?
No, chop.
One of his chops. How many zeros are on the check before the decimal place? For the record, the lowest bid out of all three of us still made us a millionaire.
Really? Oh, well, I'm not going to lie. I'm very easy to please.
Oh.
It would be a lot less. In all honesty, if somebody offered me $1,000 to take a chop from Walter, I'd take that. I'd take that. I'll take that, man. I've done some random stuff for money. I've done some random stuff for free.
I don't remember the numbers, but I remember Isaac was in the millions. Brian was in the tens of millions, and I flat out said I'm not doing it unless it's a billion.
Well, if Gunter's watching this, sir, I'm a much cheaper date.
Hey,
remember that.
Still get eyes on the product.
You know what? Fine, but all right. Katie, continue. Because you did. Vote for CM Punk and MJF in the dog collar match.
Yeah. So Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I can't disagree with what you're saying about that. To be fair, the only reason that was such a good match was due to the fact that he was injured. It wasn't. It wasn't too hard for me to watch, in all fairness, because I knew that apparently he was, like, doctors were saying he was hurt as he could be, he couldn't really damage himself anymore. There's nothing else he could do to, hence why he got cleared and that. So the fact he was cleared to do it, that took that away a bit for me anyway. But yeah, I was trying to go more by memory. And CM Punk versus MJF, that dog collar match, I remember really enjoying that. Like, I'm always much more about story in wrestling. I can't help. That's why I think I've always preferred, like, it's harder for me to watch like indies and stuff, because there's not as much story, and why I fell out a bit with AEW. Yeah, from that, I just remember being really into CM Punk versus MJF and the dog collar match. I love a bit of brutality as well in there. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Can I go next?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start off by saying there is no wrong answer for this. First off, no wrong answer whatsoever. All those matches were chef's kiss. Let's just be honest. For me, I voted the way I voted because I didn't think that Cody should have done it. I understand he couldn't get any more injured than he already was, but I'm sorry, no. Someone, as I put it at the time, someone should have stepped in and said, "Hell no, you better sit your ass down." But he did it anyway, and to sit here and talk about the guts and everything else that goes along with Cody and him showing the heart that he has and the determination he has, take it to another level for me. Every other match was phenomenal, and I sit here and I say, they killed it. I'm not gonna say CM Punk and MJF wasn't phenomenal. You guys know how much I love that Death Triangle, especially against United Empire. Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay was a phenomenal match as well. FTR versus Briscoes, do we need to go there? Gunther versus Sheamus, Jesus Christ. I can sit here and go all day with big men stopping me. I love that. But, for me, that was what it was. That's just the way I feel. I mean, everyone has their opinion. That's just mine.
I'm going to say something that might anger Patrick a little bit.
Please go.
In preparation for the Egies, I went back and watched all these matches, and I remember watching Gunther versus Sheamus when it first happened. Went back and watched it again, and it was just okay to me. I can. I'm not saying it didn't deserve to be included in this category, but I just remember thinking, okay, this is a great match, but it. I guess it's what. Again, it's subjective. It's a matter of opinion. You're getting those car keys, aren't you? You're putting your shoes on.
It's a magnifying.
Get the magnifying. This might be the one where he finally goes live on the road. It fell a little bit short for me, and that's all I can say about it. Not to say that both guys didn't show out, and it deserves all the kudos it gets from whomever votes for it. It just wasn't my cup of tea at the end.
But he's coming off.
God, there's more nakedness coming off now.
Well, no,
All right.
Okay.
For the record, rocking the Superman shirt because Brian's about to get that kryptonite. Brian, I'm sorry that in your delicate sensibilities, you can't stomach watching two grown men beat the living shit out of each other. I'm sorry that stuff like this makes your delicate constitution a little bit squeamish because you can't watch someone taking a baseball, essentially a human baseball bat right across someone's chest. I'm sorry that you can't grasp the concept of that. I'm not saying that you're not intelligent because we all know that you are the smartest guy in this room.
Whoa.
But what I am questioning now is your sanity. What I am questioning is those delicate sensibilities. Because for you to say, Brian, that match was all right, it was just okay, is like me telling you sorry, Isaac, but Game 7 of a certain World Series, it was just okay.
From your perspective, I would agree with you about that. It was just okay. Because you're neither a Cubs fan or a Guardians fan.
No, just double check as well. The World Series, just American teams, right?
No, there's one in Canada.
Okay, that is the world. I take it back. That is indeed the world.
Yeah. Wait, keep in mind, it has to be the World Series because we can't be the World Cup because God only knows Americans suck donkey balls at soccer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, we're not too much better than our men's team.
Anyway, back to Brian. Back to Brian. I'm not saying that Game 7 of the World Series wasn't a good game. My opinion, it was the greatest World Series Game 7 of all time. But for you to say that Walter Seamus was okay is like someone saying that the greatest World Series Game 7 in history of baseball was just all right. That's like saying a movie like
The Godfather is just okay.
Yes, The Godfather was okay. It's like saying that Marvel movies make a little bit of money, that Star Wars made a little bit of money. It's like saying Jade Cargill doesn't suck.
Okay, I mean, you've got your opinion. I have my
opinion,
think it's
and
that
I'm right.
far below Seth Rollins and Cody. I'm not even saying that it doesn't deserve to be considered. I'm saying that for me, because you said before when you're talking about Roman, you said you consider the total package, not just the in-ring and all that. You consider the storyline, and you consider the microphone and all that kind of stuff. You look at the fact that this was the third match in their trilogy. You look at the fact that, the injuries are what they are. If somebody performs hurt, you have to acknowledge that he performed hurt. And you look at the circumstance surrounding the match, that it's in Hell in a Cell. All of those things are conspiring to up the ante, up the ante, up the ante, up the ante.
Tracy, help me with him.
And I can't help but agree. Gunter versus Sheamus, it wasn't that great.
No, nobody asked your opinion, British boy.
Notice I'm not disparaging the match. I think you think I'm just dismissing it. Part and parcel.
No, I know you're not, but what you're doing though is you are ignoring a lot about that match and what made it otherworldly. Cody and Seth going into Hell in the Cell had a lot of build. It had a lot behind it. And that created buzz and hype and expectations, and it delivered. Injury or no, because their other two matches also freaking delivered. Hang on real quick, Katie. Gunther and Sheamus. All you needed to do to promote that match is go, hey, Gunther and Sheamus are fighting over in the UK, and they're gonna beat the unholy hell out of each other. Hey, Patrick, how do you feel about that match? What do you think the stipulation of that match should be? First guy to die loses. That's all the hype you need. That's like saying, hey, we're gonna take Okada and Omega and go to Japan, and it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Wait, in the
That's all you need to do. It writes itself. It's a license to print money.
Can I jump in here, Patrick, real quick?
Absolutely. As long as you don't agree with either one of these two Donkey Kongs.
Okay,
I've got a question for Patrick after that.
It's very similar to what Patrick just said in saying Stone Cold Rock WrestleMania. Boom!
See, Isaac, this is why you are the most sensible person on this show. You get it. You understand, not like KD and his weird, his weird UK sensibilities, because he's still mad because they got their asses kicked in 1776, and Brian's just too smart for his own good.
What was America doing in 1600 or
Jack
1500?
being ruled by your
No,
monarch.
you didn't exist.
The colonies were being ruled by your monarchy.
No, you weren't there. America was being still had like the original Native Americans under that point.
Yeah, but colonies were starting to be developed, so therefore, in that period of time, the people that were in this country as colonists were still England's bitches.
Quick, do you know who is the only country to have burnt down the White House?
Oh,
yeah, boys. Yeah, boys.
We know that.
Yeah. Check it out.
We all know.
He's not wrong.
Why?
Isaac, Brian's a teacher. He would know this.
He's not wrong, boys and girls.
Question I was going to ask you about Gunter versus Sheamus. Like, genuinely, take away boob slapping and all that out of it. What was so good about it?
It was more than just boob slapping. It was heavy strikes. It was power moves. It was aggression. And it was two guys, because I'm sorry, yeah, there might have been boob slapping, but one, tell me that crap don't hurt.
No, it's just everywhere.
And two, after that happens to you, dozens, plural, dozens of times, tell me you're gonna be able to get right back up from that shit and keep going. No, you're not.
No, I agree with you completely, because it happens about 17 times on every wrestling show nowadays.
Not that hard.
Not that. No.
Not as hard as Chris Jericho and was it Ishii or no, not Ishii, the Stone Pitbull guy.
Yeah,
he legitimately busted his boob open. I've never seen that before.
Well, first off, have you seen? Have you really paid attention to Chris Jericho's chest? It's not the most defined thing in the entire world.
Oh, it's a lot better now, to be fair, man.
He's got about as much definition up here as I do. And Brian, I do get it. I do see that. See your message. We will get out of here soon. Brian's laptop's about to die.
I realized I left my power cord at school. That ordinarily wouldn't be a problem, but my screen just went a little dim, and I'm like, oh dear.
What battery percentage are you at?
16.
All right, cool. We'll get out.
Which is not normal for this computer. So
no, we'll
Just so you know, as well, when it comes to Gunter and Sheamus, I really enjoyed the match too. And Sheamus has been one of my low-key favourite people for a while. I'm just taking the mick more than anything for funnies.
Of course. I wouldn't expect anything less. The only thing I'm disappointed in is the fact that, Brian, you are the first thing on my list that we will discuss in December when we discuss Festivus.
Okay.
You are.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah.
You're welcome. This demigod.
Oh my God.
Just make sure you spell my name right.
Do you want to know? You'd be interested to quickly mention
Fartface. There you go. That's how we're spelling your name now. Fartface.
You guys might be legitimately interested to know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm currently in the middle of writing a little cover song again, like I do sometimes. And I've done a cover version I'm doing a cover version of Keith Lee. It's I am KD. And it's fun. It's fun. A lot of jokes about your mother.
I like that. Well, here's what we're gonna do, because if we can honestly keep this going for another 2 hours. You're welcome, by the way. 2-hour long show. That's about the width and breadth of what we really need to be posting on our platforms, because otherwise you guys are gonna need a marathon to be able to finish this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. That way Brian's laptop doesn't die and all that good stuff. So for myself, for Brian, for Isaac, for KD. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2022. We're in 2023 now, dumb shit. For the 2022 Egie Awards. We will see you guys next January when we discuss this. But these guys will see you next week. I have no idea what they're going to talk about. They'll figure that out over the course of the week.
A beautiful mystery.
You guys will have fun with them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for the notifications, leave us a 5-star review, leave comments.
Check out KD Comedy Inc. as well.
Yes, go to KD Comedy Inc.
Do
as well.
that too.
You beat me to that. I was just about to go there.
Oh, sorry.
No, don't forget to hit the show up on Twitter at WrestlingXEgos. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks so I can go handle my family business. Guys, thank you as always. I love the hell out of you guys. Hold down the fort while I'm gone. KD, you're in charge.
Oh, God, the ship is going down.
That ain't happening. Yes.
Anyway, so Katie's got hosting duties the next couple of weeks, and until then, I will see you guys on the other side of this dumpster fire. I'm kidding, buddy. Again, for KD, for Isaac, for Brian, my name's Patrick. This has been Wrestling with Egos. Thanks for watching. Conversations like this, laughs and just complete, I'm going to say it straight this time, Brian, complete shenanigans.
Shenaniganery
is why we love wrestling. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. They'll see you next week. Bye.
Later.
Yeah.